Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Paul Reed and I'm a professional photographer. So any photographs that I've ever shown on this channel, anything that you've ever seen of mine, it all stems from a few years ago when something happened to me, something happened in my life, and it wasn't a good thing. But the photographs that I took then, the photographs that I take now, it all stems from this one moment in my life. It's took me a long time to get to the point where I can actually talk about this to you, and today I'm going to really open up about what happened. I've been taking photographs for what seems like forever, since I was a boy, and I picked up that first camera, my dad's camera, and I remember being so excited about photography, and I remember developing the films, printing the photographs. Now whenever I left school, of course, what did I want to be? I wanted to be a photographer. This all kind of happened around the point whenever film was just switching to digital. So at that point I felt the pressure to switch to digital, and what happened was I kind of lost my mojo a bit. Whenever things switched to digital, I just didn't feel the same about it. And then because I was in this small town and I was basing it on what people wanted, not what I wanted to produce, not the art that I wanted to produce, but rather what everybody wanted. And you know, the place where I lived, the sorts of photography that they wanted really wasn't my thing. And black and white photography, monochrome photography, they were just thinking, why would you want to have monochrome photography? So I struggled to forge this career in photography. In my early 30s, I decided that I was fighting a losing battle. People didn't want the photography that I wanted to produce. They didn't understand it. So I decided I was going to get a normal office job and put the photography to one side. As much as that job wasn't the best really, it wasn't exactly fulfilling my creative dreams, I did meet a lot of great people there. But there was one particular person that I met there, and his name was Dave, and we became so close over 10 years of just, we lived together, we worked together, we did everything together, and our lives just became just like almost reliant on each other. We were like an old married couple. After many years of, you know, such a great friendship, one day Dave seemed to have developed some kind of speech issue. So it was kind of, he was mispronouncing some words and things like that. And I guess we kind of ignored it a bit. I thought maybe it was nothing. But then he started to struggle doing the buttons up on his, on his shirt and stuff. So we knew there was something up, and Dave went to see a doctor and got a scan, and basically it was discovered that Dave had a brain tumour. A few days later, and I was driving Dave to the hospital to get an operation to get that removed. Now at that point I still had no idea kind of how serious this was. For whatever reason, it never occurred to me that there might be a chance that I was going to lose Dave. But after the operation, he pretty much lost all of his speech. You know, there was the odd thing that he could say, but in the main, he came out worse than when he went in. And you know, this was such a heartbreaking time, because there was things that he wanted to ask for and things he wanted to say, and you know, he couldn't say them, and it was, you know, like, it was a terrible time. And that lasted, I think it was for about a year, and along the way, you know, there was lots of, you know, scary moments whenever he'd end up in hospital again. But in the end, after probably about a year, it was discovered that, you know, he was not going to have long left to live. So basically I had to kind of start to deal with that, to deal with the fact that I was going to lose him. Dave passed away soon after we got that news that he wasn't going to get better, and it was a lot to deal with. I was completely devastated. It was like I'd lost this part of me, and I really didn't know how to deal with that at all. What had become apparent to me though, through that devastation and through those really kind of dark and hard times, was that Dave had been fighting for his life, and there was me just kind of, I don't know, just not appreciating life at all, and kind of blinkered to the world around me. So I kind of remembered, well, what were my dreams? And my dream was always to be a photographer. That's what I wanted to do for a living. I just wanted to go out and take photographs all the time. And somewhere along the line, that got lost. So the first thing that I did was I picked a camera up. I picked my camera up and I started to go out. A lot of the times it was at night. Whenever, sometimes I was feeling at my worst, and I would go out and I would take these photographs around where I lived. When I look at these now, I can kind of almost like feel a slight kind of loneliness from looking at these photographs. I wasn't taking photographs for other people. I was taking photographs for me. It was like therapy. It wasn't escapism, because a lot of those walks and things that I would do, I would be thinking about Dave and thinking about what I'd lost, the friendship that I'd lost. But just going out with the camera and taking those photographs really, really helped me at the time. Now, as I went on, of course, things get easier. You're still grieving, even now, I can kind of get those moments where I'm thinking about him, and it's hard, but it has got easier as time's gone on, I think, as well. You kind of forget the bad times, the bad bit at the end. You kind of start to forget that a bit more and start to remember all the good times. But photography was really, really helping me grieve. It was helping me. And as my photography went on, I think you can almost see how things lighten up a little bit. And the photography of, say, the time traveler, the time traveler itself is something, I guess, that subconsciously was in my mind, of that kind of almost wishing that I could time travel back and, I don't know, somehow stop that bad thing happening. But the Time Traveler series, all, came, as things got easier. I really was seeing the world with new eyes. I was appreciating everything around me. I often say this to people whenever I used to walk from A to B, I never used to look at what was around. It was always just the destination that I was going to that was important. It wasn't what happened on the way. And of course, as I started to get back to portraits, because originally when I was young, it was portraits that I loved. I loved taking pictures of people. I loved that interaction with people. What I love about portraits is how it makes them feel. Is if you take a really good portrait of somebody, of how it makes them feel, and that, really makes me feel good as well. So I really got back to portraits as well. And a lot of these portraits, again, all of this just wouldn't have happened if this really bad thing hadn't happened. And look, whilst I wish it didn't, but it did cause me to really get that realization and start pursuing my dreams. Why am I telling you all this? Well, because just in case there is somebody out there that is going through hard times, I look at those hard times now and I see where I am today. Look, it's like a happy ending, even though it's not the end, obviously. but I'm doing what I love to do, and you know, I ended up meeting the love of my life, and everything just really, you know, really got better than it ever was before, because I was doing what I loved to do. Photography is a really great way to express yourself, because sometimes it is hard to talk, but expressing yourself through art, through photography, all of those dreams that you have, and the dreams that you have at night when you're asleep, and sometimes you remember them, you know, go out and, you know, use all of that to make art, and just, you know, follow your dreams, and honestly, you'll get better. Thanks so much for watching today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope it has helped some of you out there if you're going through a tough time. Just before I go, over 600 people have got the Monochrome Madness Handbook now. Now, I'm so happy about this. This is in people's camera bags. They're carrying it everywhere. I keep getting photographs sent to me of people where they've got it with their little cup of coffee and their camera, and I just love seeing that so many people have got this now. So I'll put a link in the description if you haven't already got your copy of the Monochrome Madness Handbook. There's loads of inspiring images in there, loads of portraits, lots of street photography, and just lots of information to let you know how I do things. The other thing that I just wanted to remind you of is my New York workshop in September next year. Now, the workshop that I put on next year, February and March, that got booked up straight away, but I put on another one in September, and it is getting booked up, but there are still some spaces left on that. So if anybody wants to come to that, and it'll be street portraits and street photography. There's a 2-day workshop and a 1-day workshop, and it'd be fantastic to see you there. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.